When my mother died, my father has been playing both parents' roles, being a mother at the same time being a dad. I can't remember lacking anything. In fact, I got more than enough. I thought my dad got everything in life, so asking him anything I wanted wasn't really a big deal. But every time I eat either lunch or dinner and I have leftovers, my dad would take the leftovers and eat them. I understood why. I thought maybe it's because he don't want to waste food. Or maybe he never wanted me to eat any leftover the following day. So that didn't bother me a lot, since he was my father, and he loved me so much. But I never saw him eating food for himself. He never brought food for himself, only for me. He was a taxi driver, and I was proud of him. He would drop me to school. He starts his job as usual. The small money he got was used in everything, especially for my medication, but still my father never gave up on me. He never stopped by any means. Instead, he pressed on in order to see me happy and in well condition like any other normal kid. He would never fail to come before I sleep. He would tell me a good night story and a good night kiss. My dad was the best. He would ask me what I want for breakfast, as if he was the owner of the market. Anyway, I used to think my dad was the richest man in the whole world. And now, here comes a new day. I don't know when my dad was sleeping, but my breakfast was ready on time. As usual, he will never have his own until I finish, and then he will eat what I leave. I asked him to join me with his breakfast. He told me he already took his breakfast while I was sleeping, so I should go ahead and eat mine. Since I was getting late for school, I took my breakfast, and he drove me to school. I was so happy when he would say goodbye to me, because I knew he will be back to pick me up. Then after dropping me, he would go to his usual job of taxi driver. Still, he's checking time, so that he will not be late to pick me up at the evening. Till went by. I'm now a big girl. I can now see things in another way. I told him I want new things. Now that I'm a teenager, I want to be like my friends. But he would never say no, that one I knew for sure. It was my guarantee that I must get it. My new school has got new rules. My dad has to buy new books. That one I had no problem with, since my dad will get them for me. And I was right, because when I gave it to him, he said he will get the books. He said he will bring them when he's coming back from work, but I never knew what he had to do to get them. He went and sold the most expensive watch that my mom gave to him on his birthday. He sold the watch on a very low price, but he had to do all it takes. Not only did he sold the watch, but also he sold the necklace as well. The money he sold the watch was not close enough to buy all the required books. He had no choice but to sell it as well. My dad went and bought all the books. He came home and gave them to me. I was so happy. My rich dad has got me the books. Without no doubts, nothing I could lack. When I asked Dad, I would tell him to bring food for me when he's coming home. And indeed, he would pass by a cafeteria and bring some food for me. But as usual, he never brought his own. I was sure he had enough on his way. I told myself. Little did I knew that he slept an empty stomach. How can one sleep on an empty stomach? I can't have any answer until this day. Now at school, all of my friends would brag what their parents bought for them on the weekend. Some said they got new clothes. Some got new nail polish. Some got new outfit for special occasions. So they asked me what my dad got for me during the weekend. I told them I got everything, including new polish. They asked me why I never wear them to school. I told them I don't like to, so they asked me to wear them the following day. I bragged how my dad brought me a set of new nail polish, that they got jealous of me. But deep inside my heart, I was planning to get them today, since my dad will never say no to anything I tell him. That evening, I could not wait to tell my dad about it. So I asked him to get me a new set of nail polish, not the one from the local market, but from a classic beauty shop, since my friends got theirs from classic stores. My dad never wanted to hurt me, so he accepted. The following day, I could not wait to show my nails to my friends. I went and showed them. They could not believe I kept those polished at home without wearing them. They made me feel like a queen that I was in my dad's life. One of my friends asked me who is that man who always drops me to school. I thought for a while and told them he is just my taxi driver, because I never wanted to be embarrassed by saying he's my father. My dad could not imagine I called him just a taxi driver. He looked at me, tears rolling down his cheeks, but I never thought it had any effect on him. He was stranded for some time, looking at me tirelessly. Then he drove off to his usual job. My dad could not take that I actually called him just a taxi driver. He was sad the whole day. I could see it when he came to pick me from school. He looked so confused and uncomfortable. He talked less than usual, but his love for me never changed. I left him in the taxi while I hurried to eat what he has brought for me, but he was shedding tears all over his face uncontrollably. That didn't bother me either. My goal was to be a big gal of a rich dad, not a taxi driver. I went to him the following day and told him that my friends and I had a vacation trip to another state. We needed $300, and I knew that my dad will definitely pay for me. He responded okay, with his promising voice. He told me he will give the money once he gets back home. I was so happy. At least I'm going for a vacation with big girls in our school. I will never let them know that my dad is a taxi driver. I can't stand that embarrassment. Just as he promised, he brought the money to me, and in fact, he gave me extra bucks for my journey. He was my hero, though I was hiding him from my friends. He told me the extra bucks were for my personal staffs, in case I needed something. Now the day for our flight is here. My dad dropped me at the airport and went back. I went to meet my friends. We were so happy, finally. Our dreams were coming true, but as I was looking for my boarding pass, I could not find it. I looked for it everywhere in my bag, but I could not find it. When Dad was driving back home, he looked at the back seat where I was seated, and there lies my pass. My dad could not believe I just forgot my pass. There's no way I can be on flight without my boarding pass. So he decided to bring it to the airport. He never wanted me to miss this vacation. He was already at the airport when another taxi came from the opposite direction and hit my dad's taxi. Everybody gathered around the taxi to see if they are still alive. That's when Rose came in. She told me that my taxi driver has got an accident right the entrance of the airport. I could not believe it's my dad. I hurriedly ran to where they were. Oh no, it's my dad, being carried helplessly. I went to where he was, and the first thing he said was that I forgot my pass. That's what her was bringing to me. I felt so sad that I could not control myself. Tears overflowed. My friends asked me if my driver is okay. I answered them with a heavy heart that he's not my driver, but my dad, and I love him so much. I felt so sorry for disowning him publicly and calling him my taxi driver.